This week we started our new sermon series called Thank You for Sharing, and it's a series about evangelism or sharing Jesus. And while I'm super excited about the series and think it will be super helpful, I also felt like it was kind of abrupt to just switch from racial injustice and all that's going on in our world to suddenly talking about evangelism. And I was talking to Mike about my dilemma this recently, and Mike said, "Why do the two have to be mutually exclusive?" And I realized Mike's right. They don't have to be mutually exclusive. Actually, in Matthew chapter 6, Jesus is praying and he says, "Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven." And what Jesus is actually saying is that bringing his kingdom to earth is sharing about him. It is the action of evangelism. So this week, please evangelize. But don't just do it through your words. Do it through your actions. Do it through your love. Do it by standing up against injustice everywhere. Please evangelize this week.
I've been thinking about the protests and what it means to have the Lordship of Jesus Christ over my life during this season. I came across a passage in John 4 about the Samaritan woman, and I learned a few things here. First of all, in verse 1, Jesus was on his way to Galilee, and instead of going around Samaria, he decided to go through Samaria. You see, he was willing to break boundaries that others were unwilling to break. You know, Samaritans and Jews were sworn enemies. The second thing I learned about my Lord was this. In verse 7, it says that he was willing to speak to people who others were not willing to speak towards. It was a Samaritan woman at the well. She had 5 husbands, and the man she was living with was not her husband. She was of ill repute. Yet this Jewish rabbi decided to take his time and give her the attention that she needed. The third thing I learned was this, that Jesus gave life where everyone else was throwing shame. You know what? He spoke to her and he offered her in verse 13 the living waters of God. And she received it because she was broken and she was just tired in life. You know, when I think about this, I think that God was obviously interested in bringing restoration to the people of God. I want to say also during this season, you know, when we come to the table of restoration, come with an attitude of humility. Also, know that your learning posture is important. God bless you and have a great week.
This week in our men's call, we were talking about Matthew chapter 17. And in Matthew 17, Jesus says that if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, that you'll be able to move mountains. And so I started thinking about this, and I started quantifying and measuring my faith and trying to see if it added up to mountain-moving faith. And I started pushing harder and harder, and I realized that I still wasn't moving mountains. And I realized that maybe instead of trying to measure my faith, I should take it step by step and do little things that I can do to trust God more and give God more faith each day. So if that's you, maybe you can just start by asking God, can I trust you with my finances? Can I trust you with my relationships? Can I trust you with my children, with my health, with my coworkers? And you'll realize step by step as you learn to have more faith in God in these little things that your faith makes mustard seeds look small. Stop measuring your faith this week and start trusting God.
I love my phone. It keeps me connected to my parents in Canada. I can FaceTime my kids in the mornings. I can send texts and receive texts and emojis and all that. It even keeps me connected to the world through the internet. But I think the phone is actually pointing to a deeper reality, a deeper truth, that we are creatures who need to be connected. You know, the Bible says in Matthew 22:37, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. We were wired to be connected. You know, I want to challenge you this week. Can you write 3 names down of people who have blessed you on your spiritual walk and your journey with Christ? And write their names down. Make sure that you reach out to them this week and stay connected. God bless.